We are definitely having some technical issues over here, but we are going to work through it. Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector. And I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. This is a little bit of an impromptu live stream that we are going to do. And we're doing it because we have indeed been having some technical issues literally all day. I woke up at 6 a.m. I walked downstairs, and as I was waiting for the coffee to brew, I checked my messages, and lo and behold, a video that was supposed to go live at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time had decided on its own to go live at 3:30 a.m. That was not my desire. So that video got away from me. But thanks to everyone that took an opportunity to check that video out. I felt like I owed people something, right? Because we normally release a video later in the day. And when like 3:30 rolls around, I was like, man, I feel kind of empty. Like I'm not really responding to any inquiries or questions or any of that kind of stuff because that had all started earlier in the day. So I decided that I was going to go live this evening to share with you guys a couple of things that have been delivered here to the house. I have more than enough like haul videos right now that I was like, you know what? I'm not going to record another video to do another haul. I'm just going to go live. I'll talk to the people. I'll show them some of the books that I picked up, and then we'll just freestyle it and have a good time. So here we go. Who is that? Tina says, I watched at 4:30. That is a beast of a, that is well done. Early morning videos are much appreciated. I respect it. I respect it, but I do it at 3:30. Because that's typically, as you guys know, historically the time when I'm done with work and I can actually respond to inquiries that come in as results of the videos. And so, it's just one of those things. I like to do things a certain way because it fits, right? But I do have a couple of things here that I want to show you guys that have arrived here at the house. One of them arrived just like 15 minutes ago. But one of the books that I want to show you guys is something that I actually picked up at one of my local comic shops. And probably for a month, I've been staring at this book in the glass enclosure at one of the LCSs. And this book has haunted me. And it has haunted me because the cover of this book is an iconic cover. And as I've been going through the 100K collection, I keep seeing homages to this cover, thinking that it was the real deal. And it has probably happened to me like a good 6 times where I've gone through a bin, seen the homage and thought that it was the real deal. And so I didn't want to buy the book because I was like, maybe I'll find it, right? We have the homage. We have to have the real deal in here somewhere. And I was in the comic shop on Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday of last week. And as I was walking out the door, my guy said to me, Reggie, I know you were looking at that book in the case for the last little bit here. He's like, I dropped the price. I said, really? I said, what is the price? He told me the price. I said, okay, cool. Just put it in my box. And so I went to the car and I sent him a partial payment, and then I went home. And then later that night, I was like, why did I not just buy the book while I was there, right? So I sent him a message. I was like, bro, my bad. I should have just bought this book while I was there. So I ended up going back the next day and was outside in the car, sent him the money, and just walked him to the door. He handed me the book, and off I went. So it was one of those things. This was meant to be. It was meant to be. So without any further ado, this is a DC book. And what was funny is that my man Vika was talking about this earlier today, talking about me in DC. So I decided to go ahead and pick this up. This is Green Lantern 76. It is a 6.5 with off-white pages. And this is basically where the Green Lantern, Green Arrow stories basically began. And it, to me, is just a really, if I can get a good, there we go. It is just a really cool cover to me. The book doesn't really have any significance to it, I don't think, other than the fact that, in my opinion, it is an awesome green cover. And I'm not a huge fan of the color green just in general. I dig this cover, and it is nice to actually have this one in the collection now. So that's a nice book, says Quiz Talk. Thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate it. Definitely a cool book, man. And you know, I did right by the local comic shop, buying it from them. And like I said, I've been staring at it for quite some time. And so it was meant to be. It was meant to be. So this next book, thank you, Tina. I definitely appreciate that. David says he is late. You're never late for a live stream, brother. But it is good to see. It's the beginning of the DC Bronze Age, says my man Squirrel Matt is my Canadian brother. No, it's definitely a cool book. There's no doubt about that. And I don't know. I'd have to think about, like, is that the first significant DC slab that I've ever purchased? I would need to think about that, because it might actually be true. It might actually be true. And I can tell you for a fact that there are a lot of other DC books that I want to pick up. But my first love, as you guys know, is Marvel. And I have to pause for just a second, because this is a beautifully wrapped box. Do you see this? That is so, there is no wiggle. There is no wiggle. This is beautiful. This person did a really fantastic job. A person after my own heart that just isn't shy with the bubble wrap. And if this slides off, they use tape, one piece of tape. That's not bad. And because I love Mother Earth, we are going to repurpose all of this wonderful bubble wrap that this person decided to give me along with the comic. And unfortunately, they secured it with one more piece of tape, but that's fine. We'll get that off of there. And we will send that back out to somebody else. So this is, I think, a really cool book that I picked up. And I picked this book up around the time that I did a recent video, because I'm a big fan to some degree or another of making sure that I put my money where my mouth is. If I'm going to put a book out there as like potentially a book that people want to pick up, I want to make sure that that I have a little skin in the game myself, right? And so I decided to pick this up, even though I already have a raw copy of it. I was able to find a graded copy for a decent price. So I went ahead and snagged this one. And this guy, man, that's a lot of packing material. That is a lot of packing material. All right, but there we go. We finally got to the book inside. And this is a nice book. This book probably, again, will not be a book that surprises anyone that I decided to pick this one up. This is Amazing Spider-Man issue number 18. And this is an old CGC case. You can hear it. It is the old school loud CGC case, but this right here, 6.5 with off-white pages, the first appearance of Ned Leeds. And Ned goes on to become the Hobgoblin, as you guys know. And so you saw my coverage of this recently, where I talked about the fact that the Hobgoblin could be a villain that starts to have some appearances coming up in the Spider-Man franchise. I already have a raw copy of this. I don't think that mine is a 6.5. I think mine's probably maybe like a 5.5, 5.0. I need to take a look at it, but found a 6.5 graded from CGC. So this was not a bad book to actually pick up. And we'll have to look at it. I can already see some pressable defects. This book was not pressed, and I can see several pressable defects in the back cover alone. And not as many in the front cover. Not as many as the front, but definitely some on the backs. I would have to see whether there's possibility of getting a little grade bump on that, but definitely a cool book that I decided to go ahead and pick up. So let me go back to the chat here. Let me see what you guys are talking about. The seller wrapped that book. Yeah, so the seller put bubble wrap, cellophane, and then several different layers of packing material, just odds and ends. JD says, time to press it and send it. I will tell you. What is this? Lost Comic Junkie says, I just sent mine out, Reggie, with 5, 8, 17, and 149. Congrats on that, brother. Fingers crossed, brother, that you get some good grades back on those. Flame Brain Comics, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Milt says, I must say this is my first Reggie live stream besides Sunday, and I've really been Milt, it's good to see you, brother. I'm telling you, man, we have a lot of fun in these live streams. There is a lot of fun that happens here. I will tell you, man, and it doesn't matter what day it happens to be on. The live streams, in my opinion, is where the magic is. And so I thoroughly enjoy hanging out with you guys. So the next box that we're going to open up, I think, is going to be a pretty cool one. And this is the one that just arrived a short while ago. So we're going to go ahead and open this one up. Is there anybody else that's in here for the first time? Kingpin Comics is in the house. My man Dennis, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you, my friend. Mass Snow says Monday fun. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We are having some magical fun. JR, how you doing, brother? Sully Two Kings is in the house. It is good to see you guys. And this seller decided to put just a bunch of random stuff in a box. I mean, there is all kinds of randomness in there. I always tell people, just spend a couple of bucks and buy some bubble wrap. Just buy some bubble wrap. Let me see. I'm trying to pay attention here. I loves, how you doing? Let me throw that up on screen. First time I've seen your name. Not near mint. How you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Glitter's in here somewhere. There she is. Glitter and duct tape. How you doing? It's good to see you, my friend. Zach the Ripper Comics is in the house. I see you. So this is a really cool book that I was able to pick up recently, and I will tell you that this is not necessarily the grade of the book that I wanted. I had my sights set on a different grade, right? You know, I always tend to have, for big purchases, specific criteria for books that I'm looking at. And I had some specific criteria for this book, and I looked and I looked, and I was trying to find this book, and I struggled to actually find one that was in the range of what I wanted to buy from a grading standpoint, but also from a pricing standpoint. And it was a little bit of a struggle, to be honest with you. I looked for several months trying to find the right book. And I talked to a couple of dealers, and basically the feeling that I started to get from people was that they were actually holding on to these books because the book isn't performing as well as it has in the past. I think people are kind of holding on to it, and they're not selling if they don't have to sell. And that's what my challenge has been, is that I was able to find higher grades outside of my price range. And when I found books inside my grade range, the price wasn't always where I wanted it to be. So I continued to hunt, and a book presented itself. And while it wasn't quite the grade that I was looking for, I decided to go ahead and pick it up. That way I could at least be in the game, right? Sometimes just getting in the game is what you want to do, especially if the book is a really important book to you. And so this definitely is a really important book for me. And so I went ahead and snagged this one right here, Amazing Fantasy 15. It is a 1.0. And this is definitely on the lower side. But what I will tell you is that I am pumped and a little nervous to actually hold this book in my hand at this moment. This is a really, really awesome moment for me as a comic book collector, to have this book and finally be able to say that I own every Spider-Man book out there, from Amazing Fantasy all the way through Amazing Spider-Man issue number 1 through the end of it, which is the current day. I own every single book out there. And yes, indeed, it is a sweet Christmas to actually have this. I am actually sweating right now. But this is really cool. This is really cool. The book was supposed to be here on Saturday, and Saturday came and went, and it did not show up. And I was like, well, maybe it'll come on Sunday. And it didn't come on Sunday. And so I'm like, okay, I've been waiting all day and it still hasn't come. And I could hear the mail truck up the street because I know what it sounds like. I'm watching the security camera and I saw it, and I just waited for it to come to the front of the house, and I shot out there to go ahead and snag the book. So we are essentially done, man. this is it. We had two major BHAG goals for 2020. One of them was to achieve 10,000 subscribers, and we did that recently. And then the very next day, I purchased this book. So we took down both of the goals. I think both a little ahead of schedule, right? I mean, I gave myself plenty of time to be able to do it, but it is done, and it is a fantastic feeling. And you guys know what comes next, right? What comes next is taking a little bit of time to just enjoy what it is, right? The achievement of a goal. And then we're going to set some new goals. We're going to set new goals for 2021, and then we're going to get after them. And, you know, I don't know what those goals will be just yet. I want to just take a moment to kind of enjoy some of this, you know, and then we will get back to it. So I wanted to share this with you guys because many of you have been with me through this journey since back in the kitchen. And we've been through a lot. And it's cool to be able to share some wins with you guys. And we have losses, of course, like today with the video getting released at 3:30 a.m. right instead of p.m. But we have a whole lot of wins, and we have a whole lot of fun. And it wouldn't be the same if I didn't have people to share it with, right? You guys know that. Like, it's cool to do some cool stuff, but it's also really fun when you get to share with people that enjoy the same things as you. So Philly Born, thank you for the super chat, brother. I definitely appreciate that. It means a lot. Zach says 10,000 is awesome. Proud to be one of them. I'm about to hit 1,000. Congrats, brother. I'm gonna tell you, the 1,000 mark is a big mark. As a YouTuber, that is a very, very big milestone. And to me, that was the hardest thing to do, was to achieve 1,000 subscribers. And it's like, once you get there, I think then things start to build, right? I was watching a video the other day, and the advice that this YouTuber was giving to other YouTubers out there, because I watch a lot of videos where I'm still trying to improve, right? And the YouTuber basically said, I want you to make 100 awful videos. He's like, I just want you to make 100 awful videos, because not because he wants you to make bad videos, but the whole thing is by doing something and experimenting and trying different things and honing your craft, if you will, it allows you to get some practice and some reps under your belt so that you can truly start to perform. There's a book called Outliers. And in this book, it basically says that the premise is that there are a lot of people that appear from nowhere. I don't know where they came from. They just came out of nowhere with all of this skill and all of this talent. And the truth is that a lot of people toil in obscurity for about 10 years where no one is paying attention to them. And they're just doing the work that has to be done to hone their craft. And then at about 10,000 hours or so, I think that's what the book says. It's been like 10 years since I read the book, but at like 10,000 hours, that's where some magic starts to happen, right? And that's when you really start to perfect your craft. And that's when you get onto this larger pedestal and people like, he came from out of nowhere. No, she didn't come from nowhere. She's been toiling in obscurity, and you just haven't paid attention. And that's one of the great things about that book, Outliers. I may do a video on that at some point. I've been kind of saving that one. But yeah, the YouTuber was like, just make 100 really awful videos. Just get some reps under your belt, so that you can truly start to perform. And to some degree or another, achieving 1,000 subscribers is like that equivalent, right? It is like that equivalent of hours and hours of content where you are putting it out there consistently. You are engaging with the audience. You are discovering what works and what doesn't work. And there's a lot to be said about that. So congrats on that. What was this? Reggie, I would now like to purchase a share of No. Oh man, Squirrel Madness, give it to me. That comes next, says Squirrel. Let me see, scrolling through. Thank you, Tina. I definitely appreciate it. It is an important milestone. It really is. This is it is not necessarily the grade of the book that I wanted. It's not as presentable as I would want, but in this moment, that does not matter. Right? In this moment, this is the attainment of a goal that once upon a time seemed unattainable. right? And I literally went from thinking that I could not do it to literally writing out a goal to say how I was going to do it, to executing those individual steps on a consistent basis to the point where this book showed up via registered mail 30 minutes ago. That to me is the magic of this stuff, right? And part of this, in all honesty, is basically my attempt to say to people out there that anything is possible, right? If you think about the videos and the content that I create, it's like one long story of anything is possible. Do what makes you happy. If it works for you, then it works. Set a goal. Determine how you're going to achieve that goal. Achieve the goal, right? Like I am literally attempting to demonstrate what I think good looks like, if you will, right? That's what this is about. And it's not saying, hey, look at me, I'm perfect. That's not my gig, but it's more like where there is a way, where there is a wheel, there is potentially a way if you have a plan and you write it out and you stick to it. That's honestly what so much of this is about. That's why I did the BHAG goal. That's why I set the goals was for myself, but also to demonstrate to people out there that if you want something, doesn't matter what it is, get after it because it's possible. Super chat just came in, so I want to acknowledge that before it disappears. My man Squirrel Madness, congratulations on your amazing achievement. Pun intended. Well done, sir. Well played. So yeah, I am not going to stretch this out. I actually now need to go out of this room and show my wife what I bought. Because what was funny is I bought this book in an auction. I bought it in an auction on Instagram. And I'll tell you the story real quick. What happened was I woke up super early one morning. I saw on Instagram that someone, Golden Age Guru, was having a sale. And in the video, he showed 3 or 4 different copies of Amazing Fantasy 15. And they went by so fast, I could not see the grade. So I sent him a message. I said, hey, what are the grades of those books? And he told me, and it was like a 3.5, a 4.0, 4.5, something like that. Those books are expensive, super stupid expensive. Some of them were yellow label. And my message to him was, do you have a poor man's version? And he responded back that he had a buddy who had an AF-15 lower grade that he might bring by. Sure enough, the buddy brought it by. So I tune in. I'm 5 minutes into the broadcast. Golden Age Guru is telling this story on Instagram about how somebody reached out to him. He talked to a buddy. Buddy brought the book over. As soon as he showed the book, I was like, claim. And what was bad is that there were 85 people in the chat who saw me buy the book. And then people started sending me messages and talking. I was like, silence, say nothing. So there are several people out there that actually know that I had this book like a week ago or a week and a half ago that I've sworn to secrecy so that I could do this video right here. But yeah, everything kind of lined up for this one. And I'm very thankful that it did. This is definitely a cool moment for me as a collector, as a YouTuber, as many things. So I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me just a little bit here to celebrate this with me. If you guys need to reach out to me, feel free to do so. I am always available to you guys on Instagram. That's probably the best way to get me. But if you need to get me on email, you can do that at Regie@RegieCollects.com. I'm going to see if I can actually play the proper outro video here, and we'll see whether it actually works. So bear with me as we try this. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.